temporary commerce going in there, so we decide what that would be.
What town was that?
Christchurch, New Zealand.
Down in New Zealand, yeah. They got salty.
He's still
Thank you for your patience, everyone. We are now out of executive session, and I will reseat for the regular meeting and the first public hearing, which is on the application of the town of Woodbury to review the draft zoning regulations. Commissioners Overton, Clark, Cosgrove, Green, and Teets. Commission members are reminded of the conflict of interest provisions of Connecticut General Statute, Section 811, and the Woodbury Town Charter, Section 901, that any member who feels they may have a conflict of interest should state so for the record and complete the conflict of interest memorandum. Hearing none, then we're in public hearing. The first item that I would like to do is I would like to, at the request of the Commission, make available two legal opinions, one on the regulation change for the Aquifer Protection District and the other on regulation change for sign regulations. These are now public documents added to the record. Donna, is it possible you could make more copies of these two documents now that they're in public so that anyone in the room who has not seen them can have a copy? And then we'll have time tonight, I think, to ask questions. Those are the two, so we need just one of each to make a copy. You with me? Just take one of each and make about 20 copies. These are the two, so you want 20 copies of each.
Martin, would you like to ask if anyone wants it before we do that? Just as a...
the same paper? I can see.
Does anyone want a copy of this? I thought so.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Would it be all right?
25 might be a better number.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
would it be okay if we read it into the record while we're waiting on that? I know that
Yeah, that's not
requires...
such a bad idea. Thank you very much. And anyone who wishes to speak, I'll take you in order of hands raised. But the following memorandum was issued by Attorney Roberts on June 4th. Your request, we've reviewed the proposed amendments to the Woodbury zoning regulations. This is related to signs. Our comments on aquifer protection is in a separate memorandum. That's the second one. The only sections that I have concern about is the changes 7.5.10.1 pertaining to political signs. Refer to the November 9th, 2010 letter which discusses this subject in general. That letter was released to the public in November of 2010. While I believe the proposed revision seems to satisfy the principles contained in case law, there can be no guarantee that it would withstand judicial scrutiny in a given context. In addition, the proposed revision may require substantial effort in determining what the maximum aggregate amount of signage which would be allowed on the property under the regulations applicable to the district in which the property is located would be for a particular property. If the Commission determines that it wishes to continue to have a limit on the amount of political sign, this proposed revision is as defensible as any other regulation would be. The Commission may want to review the Mansfield example that I provided previously as an alternative approach. That is the letter that was a legal opinion from mid-2011.
Chairman, could you tell us who that was addressed to?
Yeah, Catherine Abbott.
Who else?
It was addressed to Catherine Abbott, Art McNally.
Art McNally, 56 Orchard Avenue, Woodbury.
Can I read the other one?
This was subsequently referred to you as addressed to you and the Commission, and it was privileged. It was addressed to the town planner, which does not necessarily make it such.
Thank you. The second letter, also addressed to Catherine Abbott, town planner, same date, prepared for the proposed amendments to Aquifer Protection section of the Woodbury zoning regulation. You have asked for our analysis of the proposed changes to the Aquifer Protection sections of the zoning regulation. This memorandum focuses on that issue and supersedes any prior communications. Overall, the changes to the zoning regulation prohibiting various uses in aquifer protection areas are fine and mirror the regulated uses under the model municipal aquifer protection regulations. That refers to the state model regulation. However, the aquifer protection regulations set forth in 6.2.6.3 are somewhat in conflict with what is in zoning regulation and could add confusion. Having said that, the authority for the enactment of each is different, as we communicated earlier, and the town is authorized to regulate and prohibit land uses and activities within the town pursuant to its zoning authority. The zoning regulations go further than the aquifer protection regulations, and instead of allowing and regulating regulated activities in the aquifer areas, those activities would be prohibited. Section 22A 354 of General Statute specifically acknowledges the role of zoning and states that, quote, "No person shall conduct any regulated activity within an aquifer protection area which requires zoning or subdivision approval without first obtaining a valid certificate of zoning or subdivision approval, special permit, special exception or variance, or other documentation adopted by the municipality pursuant to chapters 124 or 126, inclusive of any special act." With these changes, no zoning permit will be forthcoming, so no regulated activity will occur. Anyone from the public wish to address the commission on the subject of the proposed zoning?
Mr. Chairman, before we continue, I don't know if this is relevant. I'd like to ask the commission. We received a report from the Council of Governments that discusses political signs. Is it would the commission like to address this to the public so they may comment on this also?
I have 3 of those that I will read into the record.
Okay. I didn't know what the order was, if we should do that first.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
No, that one has already been made public a long time ago. November 9th. Bill?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
William Monty, 21 Sanford Road. I speak in support of maintaining current size limits on political signs. The character of our neighborhoods, the safety of our residents are 2 legitimate reasons for such limits. These are consistent with this Commission's purpose and authority as stated in Section 1.1 of your regulations. The argument that such limits are unconstitutional is for a court, not a zoning commission, to decide. The appearance of this town is a major reason people live and visit here, and limiting the size of signs is one way to maintain that attractiveness. I worry that eliminating size requirements for political signs would subject neighborhoods and Main Street to huge billboards promoting political candidates and messages. We limit the decibel level of audio messages to protect our environment. Likewise, we should limit the loudness of visual message to preserve that environment. Probably more important is the matter of safety. Removing size limits on political signs, compounded by lack of control over placement of those signs, could easily lead to any number of gigantic lawn billboards that block sight lines from driveways and side streets. I'm concerned that motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians would be endangered as a result. We don't need to run the risk of even one accident, and you can minimize that risk by retaining the current size limits. Free speech is not an unrestricted right. Shouting fire in a crowded theater threatens the safety of others. Incessantly broadcasting a message over loudspeakers in a quiet neighborhood at midnight is offensive to others. Both are disallowed, and oversized political billboards in residential neighborhoods fit both categories. The current regulation of the size of political signs strikes an appropriate balance between the right to share one's opinion and the protection that such sharing will not violate the sensibilities and safety of one's neighbors. Repealing the size limits on political signs would open a Pandora's box that could threaten this town's integrity and the safety of its people.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.